keep it going. It's hot.
Yeah.
And they could keep this thing going to WrestleMania if they wanted to. I don't think they will, but they keep it hot. Or they got other stories for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you need more creative, lengthy, meaningful feuds. Just like we talked about one day other last week, Harper versus Ziggler, great feud, and now they moved on. But they never really spent more time with it.
Yeah.
It didn't mean a lot. And when you do a feud, have it mean something. If you don't have John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, have it for a certain stipulation.
Yeah.
Like Rey Mysterio, as many times we saw the Rey Mysterio mask versus hair thing, at least it meant something when he lost.
You're right, yeah.
We need to see more of that. I want to see a hair versus hair match. We haven't seen a lot of those. Let's see I got an idea. Let's do a flag match and actually make it a flag match.
Yeah, you're never going to see that.
Let's have a flag on a pole match. You got to go grab the flag.
Hey, you got to give it to them. We had our first boot camp match in a long time.
That was a good no, every Christmas we do a boot camp. Oh, no. Every troops they do a boot camp.
Do they?
I think so. Go back and watch them.
It was the first time I saw a boot camp match for a long time.
It seems like they do one every year, but I might be wrong. But boot camp, and maybe it's because we saw one at Scars and Stripes.
Yeah.
But boot camp match, do different. That's what I'm saying. Do different. When these guys fight at a pay-per-view, not on Raw, but at a pay-per-view, have them be certain matches. Hey, I got an idea. If we do a Hell in a Cell, let's do more than one Hell in a Cell match. Or if we do Extreme Rules, let's actually do more than one Extreme Rules match. Or, hey, Elimination Chamber. Maybe everything's in Elimination Chamber.
All right, that's going a little
maybe
too
that's
far.
Going too far. But you can do different, more than just like a tables like TLC match. We did one.
Yes, but the thing I liked about TLC this year, everything involved the table, ladders, chairs, or stairs. Everything involved it. So it was better than a lot of the other pay-per-views because it was the best pay-per-view since Night of Champions because every title was on the line at Night of Champions. Sure. And at TLC, there was at least one. Every match had some kind of stipulation to it, except for maybe 3 matches.
Right.
The rest had some type of stipulation.
Number 2, less Hollywood writers and more people that know something about wrestling. And what that means by that, you make me play it, aren't you?
What? Mr. Interruption.
Mr. Interruption over here.
All right. So what I was going to say is less Hollywood writers and more people that know something about wrestling. What that means is less people. Okay, I don't have a problem with people that know about Hollywood writing that do sitcoms and stuff like that. But the problem is when you bring them in, letting them learn the business of wrestling before you say, okay, guess what? You've been here 2 weeks. You're the head creative.
Well, yeah.
For a certain show. Because you don't know the wrestling business.
Now, are these guys in charge?
Some of them are in charge. They'll hire certain sitcom writers.
See, I didn't know that.
Be head, and they have before. So that's the problem is they hire people that don't know anything about wrestling. If you got a group of 5 writers, if 4 of them know about wrestling, have them train the guy that doesn't know anything about wrestling. Before you say the guy that doesn't know anything about wrestling, take over our creative.
Yeah.
That's a mistake to me. You train people to, and less create. There's too many, you can tell there's too many movie storyline writers.
Yeah.
For example, The Miz. I'm just saying, there's too many. Let's have people that know the wrestling business.
What's like you were saying?
It feels like there's less.
With, like Paul Heyman coming back, or like when Paul Heyman did creative and when he helped develop characters. Having a guy like that would be great.
But he's been around the business 20 years before he was doing it. Or 10, whatever how long. But he was around for a long time before he was head creative.
Didn't Michael P.S. Hayes do it?
Yeah, he still does, I think, a little bit.
Is he still creative?
Yeah, he's on creative. I don't know if he does head. I don't think he's head of creative, but
he should know a lot.
He does, but there's I think you need a Hollywood writer to bring in fresh storylines, fresh outlook. You need an outlook.
Yeah.
You know, if you got a group of 5 people doing writing, you should have 3 of the 5 should be, Hollywood writers. 3 of the 5 should probably be people that know something about wrestling.
Yes.
And then you got two people that know something about Hollywood.
That's fine.
And they bring outside stories.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this and tie it in. They can work it out. I don't think there's that many people that really know about wrestling that are doing creative, because you can tell. Number 1 to me is creative freedom. Let the wrestlers have control of their own careers. Okay? If I'm them, I'm giving Dolph Ziggler the mic and said, dude, do what you want to do every week. Show me what you got. You ain't got it, then I'm seeing you're done. But because it feels like lately, since Survivor Series or before, when he started doing his own little promos backstage, he's finally got it.
Yeah.
And he's evolving. You need to have more creative freedom. Another example of this is Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, and you can listen to interviews he's done. Him, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they know that what they're going to do. They've been in this business, not Roman Reigns as much, but Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose have traveled all over the world independent before they came.
Yeah.
They know what they can do and what they want to do. Letting them do it. I'm not saying getting them all creative, but letting them have the freedom to do what they think they will get, because they know the business.
Yeah.
Kevin Steen, the same way. Kevin Owens, excuse me. These guys, he goes in NXT, and you can tell me they told him what to do a lot of that? Nope.
No.
That's him.
But I think it also has a lot to do with trust. I think it has a lot to do with trust with these guys, if they can trust them or not. Because if you remember correctly, with Dolph Ziggler, I felt like he got screwed over kind of how with Triple H with the whole click situation of, Dolph Ziggler did something wrong. He did a shoot promo, and, they lost trust in the guy for a little bit. So he had to go away for a year. He got buried, and then he's finally got the trust back. But
if you don't stand up and say, hey, we got to fix something. Because I can tell you right now, Damon Sandow, all the crap he's been through.
Yeah.
You don't tell me he ain't stood at some point and say, hey, we got to go a different direction with this.
He might not have.
You have to be able to let the wrestlers do that. If they stand up and say, hey, this ain't working, let's try something else. And then Triple H or Vince is like, nope, ain't doing it.
Well, it's like Stone Cold said. Issue. Stone Cold said that, he challenged them to toughen up a little bit, to actually try different stuff, because I don't think any of them want to try different stuff because they're afraid they'll lose their job. I really think that's what it is.
But you got to take a chance. You can't live safe.
Yeah.
Because how long does a superstar really have? 5, 10 years, maybe? No, 5 years.
10 years if you're on top.
If you look at most career jobs, I'm going to say most careers. The average. Do you know what the average lifespan of one career is?
What?
At a business or somewhere else? 3 years.
What?
3 years.
3? Wow. Okay.
You used to have people spend 20, 25 years at one job.
Yeah.
It's 3 years now. But that's the point with wrestling. Most of the right now you got a core group that's been there 8, 10 years. Dolph Ziggler, all these other guys that've been there for a while. But you got to have creative freedom. You know, Triple H, all the greats have done it. They were an extension of themselves. But you have to do it. JP's list.
All right.
Number 5, mid-card title feuds. Like right now, you see Ryback and Rusev in a good mid-card title feud. Let's see Dolph Ziggler. We talked about it earlier. Let's have Dolph Ziggler the same. He had a good one going with Harper, and they killed it. So, let them keep going. You need to change titles every once in a while.
Of course.
You can go back and forth. Look at I think the Miz and Mizdow and The Usos, perfect example of that. These guys have been going on for a while, and it's still interesting.
It is.
Most of it's because of Mizdow, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope it doesn't get stale too soon. But, you know.
Number 4, Vince back on TV. He thinks Vince would help the ratings back on TV. It would, but guess what? He ain't going to be there forever. I don't think he needs to be back on TV. You don't need Vince back on TV. If you need a McMahon back on TV, it needs to be Shane McMahon. Because Shane McMahon will be around a little bit longer than Vince will be.
I think Stephanie.
We need to adjust. The time period is changing.
Yeah.
Steph needs to be around for a while. Her and Triple H can be around for a while.
Yeah.
Vince will not. We need to go ahead and transition away from Vince McMahon into the next realm. And I love when he shows up, and I think that's the perfect thing. He shows up every once in a while, 2 or 3 times a year. That's all he needs to be.
Make him special.
Yeah.
Make him very...
You don't make him every week because he's not going to be there every week.
Yeah.
So, look, we need to move on. But that's the reason he's got him up there. Number 3, tag team division. People need to care about tag teams.
Of course.
We already talked about it earlier. No reason to harp on it again. But I agree. Promo work. Basically, development, like this week we had Ryback on the promo. Horrible. It was all right. It went on too long, though. But let these people, this goes almost creative freedom to me. Let these guys do let them train and get better. Let them do what they want to do to get better. So promo work was number 2 for him. Number 1 was character development.
Yeah.
With NXT, I think they're doing it the right way because they're given the chance to develop while they're in NXT. What I don't like about NXT is there's already a rumor about Adrian Neville coming up to the main roster, and they're talking about changing his character. They want to make him like a Mighty Mouse character, kind of like Crash Holly. So I don't know if I like that as much because now you're changing the guy before he gets in NXT.
I mean, you mean before he gets into...
Or into Raw or SmackDown.
But I think that's what their whole plan was at the beginning. They just give them creative freedom to see if they can run with anything, and then they give them what they want to do when they come up to Raw.
Right.
Which I think is wrong, because if it works so well in NXT, why not try it out on Raw?
Like right now, I can tell you right now, you better not change Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I mean, well, they didn't change the Ascension.
Well, a little bit. They tweaked it a little bit. But Sami Zayn, you don't change.
No.
Kevin Owens, you don't change.
Please don't.
You don't change them guys. Finn Balor, you don't change.
Oh, no.
Hideo Itami, you don't change. You don't change certain guys. Adrian Neville, I think, is a guy you don't really have to change.
No. Charlotte, you don't change her.
No,
you don't want to change her character.
You ain't going to change Sasha Banks either.
No. It works so well.
Well, that's the point. Number 1, character development is JP's. Just develop the characters, like we were saying.
Yep.
Letting them grow to be them. So that's our top 5 this week. Next week on the show is going to be top 10 crybabies of all time. Yeah, you'll love this one. There's a new WWE countdown and that's what it's top 10 crybabies all time. So we'll have a new poll up next week, so you can go in and vote.
Oh, I know what your top one's going to be.
What?
I mean, you should play his music, but... You know.
What?
Christian!
Thank you. We're going to break, come back. You're listening to Wrestling Attitude, and we'll talk about Raw from this past week.